North Korean leader Kim Jong Un has once again drawn international attention after visiting and inspecting a newly constructed naval destroyer, according to reports released by the state news agency of North Korea. The visit, reported by the Korean Central News Agency, took place at a naval facility where the leader examined what officials described as a modern multi-purpose warship designed to strengthen the country's maritime defense capabilities. During the inspection, Kim reviewed the ship's weapons systems, operational features, and combat readiness while emphasizing the importance of rapidly modernizing the Navy. The vessel, believed to be a large destroyer-class warship of around 5,000 tons displacement, represents one of the most ambitious naval development projects undertaken by North Korea in recent years. According to international reporting, the warship is intended to carry a variety of missile systems capable of striking both sea and land targets. Analysts say the project reflects a growing focus on expanding North Korea's ability to project power beyond its coastline. During the visit, Kim also oversaw a test of cruise missiles launched from the vessel, demonstrating what state media described as the ship's offensive strike capabilities. The missiles reportedly flew along a predetermined trajectory before striking designated targets, confirming the operational readiness of the system. Photographs released by state media showed Kim observing the launch while surrounded by military officials and naval commanders. The demonstration was portrayed domestically as a significant milestone in the country's effort to strengthen its armed forces despite international sanctions and economic pressure. In his remarks during the inspection, Kim stressed that strengthening the naval force is an essential component of national defense strategy and that the country must develop modern warships capable of conducting complex operations. For decades, North Korea's military power has largely focused on land-based forces, artillery systems, and missile units positioned along the heavily fortified border with South Korea. However, the appearance of a new destroyer signals a potential shift toward expanding naval capabilities as well. International observers say that while North Korea's Navy has traditionally relied on smaller patrol boats and submarines, the development of larger surface combatants could represent an attempt to modernize the fleet and diversify its military options and regional security dynamics across Northeast Asia. During the inspection of the new warship, Kim Jong Un personally oversaw the launch of cruise missiles from the vessel, a demonstration that state media portrayed as proof of the ship's combat readiness. According to reports released by the Korean Central News Agency, the missiles were launched toward targets in the sea and followed a planned flight path before successfully hitting their intended objectives. The test was intended to verify the performance of the destroyer's onboard weapons systems and confirm that the ship could conduct offensive strike missions if required. Cruise missiles are considered particularly significant in modern naval warfare because they can travel long distances at low altitudes, making them difficult to detect and intercept. Analysts note that such weapons allow ships to strike land targets from offshore positions while reducing the exposure of the launching platform. The demonstration also served as a public signal of North Korea's growing military capabilities at sea. Over the past decade, the country has significantly expanded its missile programs, conducting numerous tests of ballistic and cruise missiles designed to reach targets across the region. Although North Korea's missile development has primarily focused on land-based launch systems and submarine-launched missiles, the ability to deploy similar weapons from surface warships represents another layer of capability. Military analysts say this diversification could complicate the calculations of neighboring countries and their missile defense systems. By placing missile launch platforms on naval vessels, North Korea could potentially conduct attacks from multiple directions or unexpected locations. During the inspection event, Kim praised the engineers and military personnel responsible for developing the warship and its weapons systems. He emphasized the need to further strengthen naval forces and accelerate the introduction of advanced technology into the fleet. State media reported that the leader highlighted the strategic importance of sea power and called for continuous improvements in shipbuilding and maritime defense. The test launch also carried political significance, as it demonstrated progress in the country's military modernization campaign. Despite facing international sanctions aimed at limiting access to advanced technology and materials, North Korea has continued to develop new weapons systems through domestic research and development. The cruise missile launch from the destroyer, therefore, served both as a technical demonstration and as a symbolic message about the country's determination to expand its military capabilities regardless of external pressure or diplomatic tensions in the region. The inspection of a new destroyer by Kim Jong Un highlights a broader strategy aimed at modernizing the naval forces of North Korea. For much of its history, the country's navy has been considered one of the least technologically advanced branches of its military, consisting largely of small patrol vessels, aging frigates, and a fleet of submarines designed primarily for coastal defense. However, recent developments suggest that the leadership in Pyongyang is seeking to transform the Navy into a more capable force with the ability to conduct offensive operations. The construction of a large destroyer equipped with missile launch systems indicates an effort to introduce modern surface combatants into the fleet. International analysts note that such ships can perform a wide range of missions, including anti-ship warfare, land attack operations, and air defense. While North Korea's industrial base remains limited compared with major naval powers, the development of new warships shows a clear intention to expand maritime capabilities. Kim has repeatedly emphasized the importance of strengthening naval forces as part of the country's long-term defense planning. In previous speeches and military inspections, he has called for the development of advanced submarines, surface vessels, and maritime weapons systems capable of operating in modern combat environments. These goals align with broader efforts to modernize the armed forces through new missile technologies, surveillance systems, and domestically produced military equipment. Observers say that building a stronger navy could serve several strategic purposes. First, it could provide North Korea with additional platforms for launching missiles, thereby increasing the survivability and flexibility of its strategic forces. Second, a more capable navy could enhance the country's ability to defend its coastline and maritime resources. Finally, naval modernization may allow North Korea to demonstrate military strength during regional tensions or political crises. However, experts caution that developing and maintaining large modern warships requires advanced shipbuilding infrastructure, sophisticated electronics, and extensive logistical support. Even if the destroyer represents a major technological step for North Korea, the country's navy is still far smaller and less capable than those of regional powers such as South Korea or Japan. Nevertheless, the appearance of new warships suggests that Pyongyang is determined to gradually strengthen its maritime forces despite economic challenges and international sanctions. The unveiling of a new missile-armed destroyer and the cruise missile test observed by Kim Jong Un has raised concerns among governments across Northeast Asia and beyond. Military developments in North Korea are closely monitored by neighboring countries because of the potential impact on regional security and stability. The addition of new naval platforms capable of launching missiles could complicate existing defense planning in the region. For countries such as South Korea and Japan, the possibility that North Korea could deploy cruise missiles from surface warships introduces another variable in an already complex strategic environment. Cruise missiles launched from ships can approach targets from different directions and fly at low altitudes, making them harder to detect than some other types of weapons. As a result, missile defense systems must account for a wider range of potential threats. The demonstration of naval strike capability also sends a political signal to the international community. North Korea frequently uses military tests and weapons demonstrations to showcase progress in its defense programs and to reinforce its image of strength domestically. Such events are often accompanied by statements emphasizing the need to protect national sovereignty and deter perceived external threats. The inspection of the destroyer, therefore, carries both military and symbolic significance. Analysts say the message is directed not only at regional rivals, but also at domestic audiences who are shown images of the country's leader overseeing new weapon systems. At the same time, the international community continues to debate how to respond to North Korea's ongoing weapons development. The country is already subject to numerous sanctions imposed by the United Nations Security Council because of its nuclear weapons and ballistic missile programs. These sanctions aim to restrict access to materials and technology that could support military development. Despite these measures, North Korea has continued to test new missiles, expand its arsenal, and pursue modernization of its armed forces. The appearance of a new destroyer equipped with cruise missiles suggests that maritime capabilities may become a more prominent part of that strategy in the future, potentially influencing security calculations throughout the region. The inspection of a missile-armed destroyer by Kim Jong Un provides insight into the future direction of military planning in North Korea. Over the past several years, the country has pursued an ambitious program aimed at expanding and diversifying its strategic capabilities. Much of the global attention has focused on the development of intercontinental ballistic missiles and nuclear weapons, which Pyongyang says are necessary for national defense and deterrence. However, the emergence of a modern destroyer suggests that naval power is becoming an increasingly important element of that strategy. By equipping surface warships with long-range missile systems, North Korea could create additional platforms for launching precision strikes during a conflict. This would make its military posture more flexible and potentially more resilient, as weapons would no longer be limited to land-based launch sites. The presence of missiles on naval vessels could also allow the country to demonstrate military strength in international waters or during periods of heightened political tension. At the same time, analysts caution that the true capabilities of the new destroyer remain uncertain because independent verification is limited. Much of the available information comes from state media reports and photographs released by the government. Nevertheless, the images and descriptions suggest that the vessel represents one of the most advanced warships ever produced by North Korea's shipbuilding industry. The visit by Kim served not only as a military inspection, but also as a demonstration of leadership over the country's defense modernization campaign. By personally overseeing weapons tests and visiting military facilities, the leader reinforces his role as commander of the armed forces and the central figure guiding national defense policy. The destroyer inspection therefore reflects both technological ambition and political messaging. As tensions on the Korean peninsula continue to shape the regional security environment, developments in North Korea's naval capabilities will likely attract increasing scrutiny from military analysts and governments around the world. Whether the destroyer marks the beginning of a larger fleet of similar warships remains unclear, but the event highlights Pyongyang's determination to expand its military options and pursue new forms of strategic power despite ongoing international pressure and economic constraints.